The wire clears on a Thursday afternoon, $2.9 billion. You look at the number on your phone for about 40 seconds, then you set it face down on the kitchen counter, and you just stand there. No champagne, no tears, no exhale, just a low, directionless hum, like a television left on in another room. This is the story of what it actually costs to get there. Part 1. The dirt. Your father's name is Darnell. He fixes other people's tractors for cash in a gravel lot behind the house. Some weeks the work is there, some weeks it isn't. He never talks about which kind of week it is. You learn to read it in his shoulders. Your mother, Cora, cleans houses 3 towns over. She leaves before you wake up. She comes home after dark smelling like other people's pine sol. She never complains. That silence is the loudest thing in your childhood. You are the oldest of 3, which means you already know what responsibility feels like before anyone explains it to you. The house has a roof that leaks in 2 places. Your father puts pots under both. Some nights you fall asleep to the sound of rainwater hitting metal, a rhythm so familiar it eventually becomes comfort instead of shame. But the shame comes too. It comes at school. It comes in the particular way the other kids look at your shoes. It comes the day a teacher hands out a field trip permission slip and you fold it into your pocket, knowing it will never come back signed, because the $12 fee might as well be $1,200. You learn to become invisible when you need to, and electric when you need to. That switch, that ability to be whatever the room requires, that's the first skill poverty teaches you. You devour every book in the school library, not because you love reading, because books are the only free door out of Millhaven. Your history teacher, Mrs. Elaine Pruitt, pulls you aside after class one Thursday. You're 14. You got a mind that's wasted in this town, she says. Not unkindly, just plainly. The way someone says a true thing when there's no time for softening it. You hear it and feel 2 things at once, seen and terrified, because being seen means you have something to lose. Part 2. The Man Who Stayed. His name is Roland Voss. He is 58 years old when you meet him. He has made and lost 2 fortunes, one in telecom, one in commercial real estate, and made a third one quietly. He moves to Millhaven because his wife grew up there and she is dying and she wants to come home. You meet him at 16 because you mow his lawn for $20. One afternoon he comes outside while you're working and watches you for a while without saying anything. Then he says, "You're calculating something." You stop the mower. The pitch of the slope. I've been adjusting the angle on every pass so the clippings distribute evenly. Otherwise you get dead patches. He looks at the lawn, looks at you. Come inside when you're done. What follows is not mentorship in any clean narrative sense. It is something rawer than that. He is not trying to build you. He is not looking for a protege. He is a man whose wife is dying in the next room and who has, for the first time in decades, nowhere to be. And you are a boy from a leaking roof who is hungry in a way that has nothing to do with food. You sit at his kitchen table 3 afternoons a week for 2 years. He gives you books, not business books, real books. A battered copy of Thucydides that he makes you read twice. Business is just war with paperwork, he says. Learn how people actually behave under pressure. His wife, Margaret, on her good days, brings you both tea and sits at the edge of the table listening. She has a laugh that sounds like it cost her nothing. When she dies, a Tuesday in November your senior year, Roland doesn't tell you for 3 days. When he does, he just says, "She asked about you last week. She said you reminded her of what forward looks like." You don't know what to do with that. You're 17. You hold it like something breakable and you never put it down. He doesn't come to your graduation. He sends a card with one line inside. Now the real work starts. Don't waste it on the wrong problems. 2 years later, Roland Voss has a stroke. He never fully recovers. He dies at 61 in that house in Millhaven, in the town he moved to for love. You are 19. You are in your first semester of college on a scholarship you fought for with everything you had. You do not go back for the funeral. You tell yourself it's because you can't afford the bus ticket. You will spend the next decade knowing that isn't the whole truth. He gave you something no amount of money can replicate, and you left before you could tell him what it meant. That debt doesn't go away, it just changes shape. Part 3. The Build. You are 21, no connections, no family money, no network built on anything except merit and desperation. But you have two things most people in your position don't: Roland's frameworks, and an anger so specific and so quiet it never runs out. Your idea is not glamorous. Mid-market agricultural supply chains are bleeding 18 to 22% of their margin on manual procurement cycles that haven't been updated since fax machines were modern. You build a software layer that automates the contracting and renegotiation process. You know this world. You grew up in it. You know where the waste is because you watched it destroy families like yours your entire childhood. You build the prototype alone. 8 months, a studio apartment, 2 meals a day, a whiteboard that takes up an entire wall. Your first investor meeting is a disaster. Second one, too. The third investor, a woman named Diana Chebe, former CFO of a logistics conglomerate, sharp enough to cut glass, looks at your prototype for 11 minutes, then looks at you. You grew up in it. Yes, that's the only reason I'm still sitting here. She leads your seed round, $1.4 million for 12%. You incorporate on a Monday. You call your father. He picks up on the fifth ring. You can hear the shop in the background, the metal sound of it, the specific noise of Darnell working. You tell him what you've built. You tell him what it means. He is quiet for a long time. Then, your mama's gonna want to hear this herself. Hold on. You hear him walking. You hear him call her name. You hear her voice before she even picks up the phone. You price high because you learned from Roland that confidence is a signal, not a feeling. You close contracts that should take years in months. By 24, 160 employees. By 25, 410. Somewhere around 200 people, you stop knowing everyone's name. That is the first loss. Small, quiet. Nobody notices but you. The acquisition offer arrives on a Thursday. $2.9 billion. You take it. Part 4. The number clears on a Wednesday morning. You pour a glass of water you don't drink. A crow lands on a fence post outside. You had imagined this moment 10,000 times. You had imagined relief, vindication, the specific release of a man who watched his father ice his back at the kitchen sink and swore it would mean something. Instead, a hum, low, constant, like a frequency your body can detect, but your mind can't name. You call Diane. She says congratulations. She sounds like she means it. The hum doesn't change. You buy your parents a house. Your mother walks into the kitchen and puts both hands flat on the counter, like she's making sure it's real, like she needs to feel the weight of it. She doesn't say anything for a long time. Then she turns around and her face is doing something you have never seen it do. Darnell, she calls out. Her voice is unsteady. This is the only moment in the entire year that feels proportionate. Everything else is contracts and security protocols and a silence where the work used to be. Part 5. The Brother. Your younger brother Marcus calls you on a Sunday. He's 23. He works at a landscaping company in Memphis. He is good at it, genuinely good, takes pride in it, and you have never once in your life known how to talk to him about the distance between your two worlds. He asks how you're doing. You say fine. He says he saw something about the acquisition online. You say yeah. You happy? You don't answer fast enough. It's okay if you're not, he says, and the gentleness in it, the complete absence of resentment, breaks something open in your chest that you didn't know was sealed. Marcus never wanted what you wanted. He never needed to escape. He is not a lesser version of you. He is a different kind of free. And sitting there on that call, worth more money than your entire county will generate in a decade, you feel something you cannot budget for, cannot optimize, cannot build a model around. You feel like you missed something, not failed, not lost, missed, the way you miss a turn on a road you can't reverse on. 14 months after the acquisition, they remove you from your own company, politely, legally, completely. And that's when you discover what you were actually made of. Part 6. The Wound That Runs. They call it a leadership transition. You become Chief Strategy Officer, which is a title that means smile for the investors and don't touch anything real. You watch them dismantle what you built. Features gone. Pricing restructured to punish exactly the farmers and small operators you designed the thing for, the people who look like your father. You can't say anything. You sign the paperwork. You resign on a Friday, walk out of a glass building in a city that doesn't know your name, and stand on the sidewalk in the October cold thinking about Roland. Don't waste it on the wrong problems. You try stopping. 3 months. A house in the mountains. No meetings. No pitch decks. You walk in the mornings. You read. You sit with the silence. It is unbearable. Not because you're bored, but because the hunger, the thing that drove you out of Millhaven, out of poverty, out of invisibility, doesn't know the war is over. But the hunger doesn't check balances, it just runs. This is the part they leave out of every success story, every single one, because it doesn't make a clean ending. 6 months later, you incorporate again. New city, smarter, leaner, carrying everything the first one cost you. The seed round closes in 8 days. At the first all hands, 38 people looking at you. The hum is back. Low, directionless. You are 28. You will do this again. You already know. Your father doesn't ice his back at the kitchen sink anymore. He doesn't have to. He sits on the porch of the house you bought him and drinks his coffee in the morning and watches the road. You solved it. The thing you decided to solve at that kitchen table, watching him reach for the rice, but you cannot feel what he feels. That sufficiency, that stillness, the ability to sit somewhere and not be calculating the cost of sitting. The thing that made you, the relentlessness, the hunger that outlasted the poverty that built it, is the same thing that makes every finish line feel like a hallucination. The wound doesn't heal when the money arrives. The wound is the engine. Close it and you stop. Somewhere in Millhaven right now, or somewhere like it, a teenager is sitting in a classroom that smells like old carpet and not enough funding. They are the sharpest person in the room. Nobody has told them yet in a way they can keep. They think the hunger is a problem to solve. They don't know yet it's the only thing that will carry them. They don't know yet that getting out and getting free are two different roads, and that nobody draws a map to the second one. But something is already moving in them, some decision forming without words. If this one found you at the right time, please share it. Someone in your life might need to hear it today. The door is always about to open for someone. Maybe you are next.